So coming into this last season, I thought the Houston Texans were going to surprise some people. Brandon, you were like, this team is going 1-16, or maybe it was 0-17. Do you remember which one it was? Your preseason
Yeah, it
prediction?
was one. I don't remember. I
Not a
think I
lot.
predicted them lose all their games. I'd be
I
surprised.
think you did.
And you were pretty, you weren't too far off. They went 3-13-1.
Yeah, they're a terrible team.
So the good news for the Texans is that they had the second overall pick
Yeah,
and the 12th in the Browns
you're
and 35 million in cap space.
nice.
The bad news is that they have a lot of holes and a number of receiver that wants out. Justin, I started with you for the Colts, so Brandon, we're gonna start off with you for this one. Do the Colts go Bryce Young with the second overall pick and then
Texans.
splurge out for the rest of the position groups, or do they wait a year to really flesh out the offensive line, the interior, build a great roster, and then allow a young quarterback to come in a clear position to thrive?
Who's their current starting quarterback?
Davis Mills.
Oh, that's right.
You have Kyle Allen too.
God, I mean, I think D'Amico Ryans is going to slow burn this because I think that would be the smartest decision. Don't know what he's being told by the front office if they want to go quarterback, because we always know that people in positions of power they might have different opinions on certain things, and they might not give D'Amico Ryans the full reins in that decision. I don't know. I would slow burn it though, and I do think that D'Amico wants to slow burn it. Just depends on what the front office wants to do. So yeah, I agree. So go O line. Build that defense up too. Maybe keep Davis Mills as the quarterback for this coming season. And then, maybe go into next season. Because again, I'm going to reiterate, I don't believe in any quarterback in this draft as a franchise guy. I just don't. Unless there's somebody that's,
I take PC.
it's not, I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think a lot of people like this quarterback class. So unless there's a guy in the second, third, fourth round that's going to be, a Dak or a Russell Wilson or whatever, I don't see it. So the Texans, for me, I think they've, like John said, they got a lot of holes. They got a lot of money, though. They got some good draft picks, good draft capital. They do have a number one receiver who wants out. That's another off the books because he's making a lot of money. I think he's making upwards of 20 million a year, if I'm not mistaken. So you get him off the books. That's even more money on your cap space. But again, you got a lot of holes, so you got to fill those freaking holes. And who wants to really come to Houston in the free agency?
So real quick, Bears take Jalen Carter first overall, and Bryce Young's on the board. Are you passing up on Bryce Young to go with Will Anderson, a defensive end out of Alabama? He's really good, but really, really good. So is
And you
Bryce.
would think D'Amico Ryan's defensive guy, he might want to take the defensive guy. If he doesn't believe in the quarterback, I don't believe in if he doesn't believe in the quarterback, then you don't take the quarterback. You know what I mean?
I think he'll believe in his alma mater. Oregon. J-Rat, what do
I,
you think
I,
of the Colts' biggest move as number two?
The Texans.
Texans.
Texans, Jonathan.
Right, sorry, I'm blanking.
It's all right. I think they are bringing in a quarterback. I don't know if they necessarily believe in Davis Mills. Davis Mills had a very good rookie year. I mean, probably the second. I wouldn't say very good, but
Low bar here.
yeah, he was probably the second best rookie quarterback last year, behind Mac Jones. And this year regressed, sure. But regarding this team in itself, this isn't a team that was just getting waxed week in and week out. This isn't a team that didn't show any fight whatsoever. I mean, they took the Eagles to the brink of it, and they took the Chiefs to the brink of games. I mean, not the Eagles, but the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys to the brink of games, back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They're a big reason why the Titans missed the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is a bad team. I think this was a team that just obviously is missing some explosive pieces. And I don't know if the quarterback is necessarily the true reason why, but they can go a lot of places with their draft picks. How many picks do they have in the first round?
They have two in the first round, top 12.
Top 12. Yeah, that's a huge opportunity that last year the Jets had, and they seized it. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, right there. You have an opportunity to truly elevate your franchise. Now, that's the sticky situation here also. Do you absolutely need the quarterback? Are you sold on Davis Mills? Probably not. But like BCAP said, are you sold on the quarterbacks available? Because you're not just going to throw a number two pick away on a quarterback that you believe in halfway. No, you got to be all in on a guy. So either you can go big and, like you said, draft a defensive end to make that immediate defensive impact, or you even trade that second pick to get even more picks in the first round and later in the draft to truly change the course of your franchise. I think they're on a good path. I don't think anything that they're going to do here is going to change that. I think I trust the direction of Nick Cassero and D'Amico Ryans. I think they're going to build a very solid team. And this is why I'm telling you, Jags are going to win that division, but I would not be surprised if Houston finishes second.
I like that take a lot.
And so, shouts out to Derek Stingley and Jalen Petrie. They're building a nice little secondary there. I think they're gonna have some good pieces next year.
Yeah, they have that kid that had the disease, right?
John Michi. He's recovering really well from leukemia, which is awesome. Awesome news. 3rd round pick out of Alabama, great player. I was excited to see him last year, and unfortunately, before the season, he was ruled. But he's progressing well, and I hope he'll be back next year, but only time will tell. The Texans, for the most part, hit on last year's draft. Kenyon Green at guard, he struggled, and guard's a position where it's harder to miss on those players, so that's a little bit of a concern. But look, let's be honest. They were not maximizing Derek Stingley at all last year. And you look at the job D'Amico Ryans did in San Francisco, they signed him to a 6-year deal knowing this is going to take 3 years to get to where they want to be. And the good news is, does he have the horses? And Petrie, like you mentioned, rookie, and Derek Stingley, who was the first cornerback taken on the board, and one of the best cornerback DB drafts we've ever seen. It's not just Sauce Gardner, the depth, the nickel corners. There's so many different guys. It was insane. And Stingley has that development. He has all the potential. We saw his first year as a freshman at LSU going up against Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson every day in practice. Iron sharpens iron. And I think for Ryans, he was by far the best coach of this hiring cycle with the likes of Shane Steichen. So you hit on the head coach, I believe. Now we had to see it in practice. The other things they have in this team are a really good tackle duo, and Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil. Now, Tunsil was a player that wanted out last year that kept him around. I think you extend Tunsil to be the blind side of a Bryce Young in the draft. You don't hesitate. I think you take Young because the only concern with him is the fact he is my size. That's an issue in the NFL after playing quarterback. The good news is Bryce Young is one of the best talents we've seen. He's not Tua where he's a statue. He can move. He is amazing out of structure. I think Bryce Young, in 2 years, could have a great core around him. I think with the 12th pick, here's the thing. You may shop that 2nd overall pick, but I think if there's any trade that's likely for this team, it's that 12th selection. Do you look to trade that for a receiver? It's not going to be out DeAndre Hopkins, but maybe a T. Higgins potentially. Somebody on the market, and you get a true top 15 guy, and you pair that up with Michi. And then in the draft, this is a deeper tight end class. You like to go tight ends. You like to grab someone on the interior offensive line. And now this offense has all the parts with Dameon Pierce. Hopefully he stops fumbling, which he did last year. And I think Bryce Young could be set up in that position to thrive, like I talked about earlier.
If I'm the Bengals and the Texans offer me the 12th overall pick for T. Higgins, I'm jumping on that.
It's amazing.
I'm taking it literally, no hesitation.
I don't think T. Higgins is A.J. Brown. And, A.J. Brown's can trade for, 17th pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would jump on that instantly, especially because you might just lose him for nothing anyway. Yeah. You get a 12th overall pick. Oh, you can draft another T. Higgins right there.
For $3 million. $5 million. Now, the defense real quick, they do have a lot of work to do on the front seven. That's why, Justin, like you said before, until they look to trade back and get more depth on the edge, that's also a possibility with this team. They also have $35 million in cap space, and that is amazing for extending some of these tackles long term. And I think one of the biggest questions with the team will be, can Kenyon Green get better? I don't know. We'll have to see more. That was, a pick they got from Cleveland, top 15 selection. So that's pretty big. If he does develop, if he can get good, man, that Texans offensive line can be really good in 2 years, or maybe by next season. And like I said before, John Michi, I like him a lot. Nico Collins, too. I think he could be their 3rd receiver if he get the number 1. But to be honest with you, as opposed to trading that 12th overall pick to pay T. Higgins $20 million, I would rather just take a receiver outright. Whether it's Jordan Addison, you go with the slot and JSN out of Ohio State. Every draft class has awesome running backs, and now we're seeing it, awesome wide receivers. I would much rather take my chances spinning the wheel with a receiver that's going to make $4 million than paying 22, which a receiver is going to hamstring the rest of my team's flexibility in the cap. So I don't think they should trade for T. That's something I've seen thrown around. Brett Coleman, actually, shout out to him. He's a Texans fan, great NFL creator. I think they have to look to get Jordan Addison with the 12th pick. And from there, man, this Texans offense can be explosive real soon. And the secondary, man, it can get dangerous rather quickly as well.
They're going to shock a lot of people.
I agree with you. I think this is going to be a good turnaround, but it's also the Texans, so I'll have to see where they mess that up.